Good evening to you lovely people. Nice to be back again with my terribly sunburnt face, because I've been out in the fields, in my bit of land there, clearing and planting and all that kind of stuff, the trees, of the fruit trees. Anyway, as many YouTubers already know, there is a tsunami of demonetization and closing of people's channels, and I'd just like to point out on it, because it's not just small channels like mine, it's even big channels with over 100,000 subscribers, 200,000 subscribers. And just recently, the guy in the Philippines, what's his name, Life Beyond the Sea, he's just been demonetized. And a lot of people think that it's all to do with AI. It is to a degree, but a lot of it is also to do with inauthentic content and repetitiveness. When content creators are not making any content that is being further educational or entertainment, keep repeating yourself. So YouTube have decided to do what they're doing. Quite right too, as far as I'm concerned. It's their channel. It's their channel. It's my channel, but I mean, it's their platform. And YouTube is a business, and they're trying to capitalize on as much money as they possibly can. And of course, advertisers, they don't want their advert on channels that is not really of any use to them. That's how they make their money, people. That's how YouTube make their money, and in turn we do. So that's one thing. And if I was demonetized, would I still continue doing YouTube channel? Yes, I would, because I don't earn that much on YouTube where it's going to make or break me. It's a very small amount, but it's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. But if I did get demonetized, I would still continue doing my channel. But for some of these YouTubers who it's their life, it's their livelihood. And I was watching this American guy, and he was almost crying, and the title was, he's been demonetized and he's not going to make it. This was his title. And I've been watching quite a lot of these channels actually, in my when I go to bed, actually, because my wife, she's asleep like that. Kaylin, he's asleep like that. So I'm twiddling. I'll go on YouTube and have a look at these channels. So this particular channel that I was looking at, he was in tears, and he's actually asking, and I think he's got 100 and I don't know how many, 150 or 170,000 subscribers, somewhere in that region. He's a heck of a lot, and he earns a lot of money, or did. And he's actually asking his followers to actually help him out. He has like a Patreon account where he's followed, and I must say, from reading the comments, there were a heck of a lot of people who were sending him money through his his Patreon, just to keep him afloat until he can figure something out. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter how much. I mean, if I was in the shit financially, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't say, oh, please send me some money just to keep me. I couldn't do it. Personally, I couldn't do it. My pride wouldn't let me do it. Hey ho, we're all different, aren't we? We're all different. So yeah, there is going to be and it's ongoing. These channels are getting taken down. AI slop, I think they call like a lot of it, but it's not just AI slop. I was watching VidQ, and there was a guy working for YouTube, quite high up, and he was being interviewed by VidQ, which they're very big on YouTube. And he was saying that it's not just the AI slop that's being taken down the channels. Like I said, it's people who are not giving, they are repeating themselves. Like last week's video is something similar today. So it's not given, and the AI is crawling these channels and seeing if the titles are like a lot different from the other titles that you have, and if the content that you're making is similar to what you've been making, same topics kind of thing, or based on the same topics, which really it contradicts what they tell you in the first place, because they say stick to one topic, stick to one niche, not one topic, one niche. Well, there's only so much what you can talk about in one niche, isn't there? Like, there are so many channels talking about the Philippines, and I would imagine many of the viewers are getting sick of people talking about the Philippines all the time, because there's only so much we can say, isn't there? There's only so much what people can talk about. Getting dark, people. I've got a light on, so if I'm in the shadow, I do apologise. It's going to get darker, so I'm going to get more in the shadows. So there's only so much what we can talk about. Relationships. To me, the relationships in the Philippines is the same everywhere else, It is, really. In fact, I think the Filipinos are more forgiving than relationships I've had in the past in the West. But, besides that, and, their mood swings, what else can you talk about? There's only so much what you can say about relationships. There's only so much what you can say about budgets. There's only so much what you can say about traveling. I'm not a traveling guy, so my vlogs are never to do with traveling. So this demonetization is going to be, it's a continual thing at the moment. As long as they don't close my channel down, if they close my channel, then that'll be it, people. But I don't see any reason why they would close my channel or similar people's channels. They might demonetize, but hey ho, it is what it is. And I would like to say thank you to all of the people who have give well wishes to my wife, because as you know, in the video that I think the last video or the one before that, I can't remember. It must be the last video, because we only found out early on in the week, or last week, this week. I'm losing track of days, people. I really am. I'm just losing track. That before, the baby was a footling, and I'm sure all of you, or most of you, knows what a footling is, a position where the feet are down and it should be the head. Well, anyway, we had the other scan, and the first thing that the lady said during the scan, he's turned himself around, he's in the position. So I'm like, yeah, because I was there as well, my wife's, yeah, good stuff. And then she said, but he has the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck 2 times. It's called a double whip. So mine and my wife's feeling of joy lasted all of 20 seconds until they said this. So luckily at the moment it's loose. This whipping around Zach's neck, because his name's going to be Zach, is loose. So she said, I can't tell you anything more than what I'm telling you now, so you've got to make an appointment with the OB-GYN. So we did the following day, because she wasn't there that particular day, because she works in the hospital. She's only there in the mornings from 10 till 12, Tuesday to Saturday. And we had the scan on the Monday, so we had to go back on the Tuesday. And I don't know why, I just think the worst. I always think the worst. I do. I think, prepare for the worst, and then if it's better than that, it's great. But we did get some comforting news from the doctor, and she said, look, because my wife, if you've seen my wife on video sometimes, which is not very often, she doesn't really come on video, she's very passive. So she doesn't really ask that many questions. Well, I do. I think I ask too many questions. But anyway, the doctor said, she said, all the time the cord is loose, there's no need for concern. Okay, we've got to monitor it. So monitoring it in the way of, if my wife feels any difference in the movement of the baby in the stomach, she says if the movement becomes slow and less, because at the moment, all the way through this pregnancy, Zach has been very active, very active. That's why he's spinning all over the place, isn't he? Like he's like a bloody acrobat. He's like a gymnast in her belly. He's all over. But she said all the time he's active, he's good. But she said observation, monitoring, scans, more scans, more scans. We're going for another scan this Monday. And the baby is actually due, I think, the first week in June. But she said it might be the end of this month of May. The sooner the better for me, people. Really, the sooner the better, because as soon as Zach is out, for me, there's no worry. The baby's out, he's all good and great and lovely and crying and screaming. I'm happy with that. So during this next 6 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks, it's going to be a trying time, especially for my wife, because she's very quiet. She doesn't talk a lot, like about this, So, for me to get anything out of my wife, I have to ask her, is baby still moving? Is Zach still moving? Yes, he's still moving. Good, just the same as he was before. Yes, just the same, Stephen, just the same. I think she gets sick of me asking, because I think it's like sort of, I'm one of these people, whereas you're like a kid in the back of a car, and your mum and dad's driving to somewhere, and you say, are we there yet? Are we there yet? I'm one of them people. Is he all right? Still moving? Ah, God, it's the first thing I ask in the mornings when she wakes up. All right, everything moving? But as my wife said, it's good. It's good. It's all okay. But this is the only concern now, is this. And the doctor even said, because he's very active in the belly, he might sort of untangle himself. But he might tangle himself more as well. So you've got the good and you've got the bad, haven't you? You've got the good and the bad. Like I said, I always think the worst, but time will tell, people. Time will tell. We're going for another scan on Monday. I don't know why she didn't book it in on Tuesday, because if she books the scanning on Tuesday, she can pop to see the doctor at the same time, But my wife didn't think of that. So it's booked in now on Monday, so we'll go there Monday and go on Tuesday to see the doctor. Trying time, people. It really is a trying time. And I'm trying not to be too selfish, thinking of myself worrying, because I know my wife is worrying probably more than I am. And I'm right at the top of my anxiety level right now. From 1 to 10, I'm 10. I'm right up there. Oh, I'm right up there. But anyway, and I want to talk about as well, not today, because, I want to talk about rich and poor, meaning, this is my next video, all being well, meaning many people come to the Philippines, right, because they can't afford to live in the West, or maybe they can afford to live in the West, but they would be, on a tighter budget than what we are here. And I think this is just the start. It's just to give you a little bit of clue what I'm going to be talking about in the next one. If you were struggling in the West, you're still going to struggle here. It's a fact. It's not, it's not where everything is super cheap here, because it's not. It's not super cheap. So if you're struggling in the West, you will struggle here, but maybe just a little bit less. Maybe a little bit less. If you were rich in the West, would you still come to the Philippines? That's a good question as well, isn't it? Well, many people probably wouldn't, but I'm sure many people probably would, especially people who are married to a Filipina, and they come here. But anyway, that's a story for another time. Just thought I'd keep you updated with my wife's things and that, because a lot of viewers asking, and let me know, keep me updated. So that's the update I've got. Fingers crossed, people. Fingers crossed. And, for all you people who are religious and you do have a little prayer, I'll have a little prayer for Mira and little Zach. And I'll see you in the next video, people. All being well. Thank you very much. Been working so hard out there as well. It takes my mind off of things. So I will show you tomorrow. I might do a short in the morning just to show you. And I will be doing a live. I've been getting a lot of messages. When are you going to do a live next? When are you doing a live? I don't know. I'm spontaneous, aren't I? But all being well in the next few days. Thank you very much. Take good care. Over and out. See you next time. Bye-bye.